For me, it's about bodily conditions.
How is it that you ended up with that front row seat?
My buddy here saved me it.
So you set forth your intention about getting up close? Doesn't matter where you're sitting in the room, by the way, but so...
No, I knew before I even got here that I would be sitting in this chair.
So did you know it enough that you could have sat on the back row?
Absolutely.
So it didn't matter where you sat?
No.
So your knowing about what you wanted in this gathering was being offered by you so consistently that you were inspired to the thoughts and the behavior and the words that managed to cause the attraction of a front row seat. And in other words, what we're saying to you is that when you get on the path of an unfolding, its evidence begins showing up in lots of different ways. In other words, we just want you to realize that it's always showing up and that it's always unfolding, and that the intentionality that you've set forth, in the same way that it causes you to be on time, it causes traffic to flow well for you, it causes you to end up in a front row seat, it causes you to light up in a way that we see you, it causes you to sit there so that we can have a conversation with you. It doesn't end here. There is so much more unfolding that is out there in your immediate and intermediate and distant future that is springing forth from the same intentionality that has brought you to this manifestation. You getting the point that in other words, we want you to understand that this is a manifestation, but that front row seat manifestation, that happened and now it's old business. And sitting in this chair, that happened and now that's old business. And what goes, in other words, the attraction continues. We don't want to give anybody the impression that we're going to give you any answers to any questions that will then bring a solution that is the end of anything. Everything is just a constant unfolding. That's the point that we're wanting to make. A constant leaning in the direction of who life is constantly causing you to become. Sorry, we've used all your time.
Oh. I thought I was going to do the talking.
So what do you want to talk about?
My body. From way back when, since I can remember, I was fat, I was thin, I was medium.
Now in light of what we were just saying, right before you said that, in other words, not an hour ago or not 20 minutes ago, just now, we were leading into this by helping you to realize is that you didn't start the attraction of this morning. It's been in motion for a while, and you didn't start the attraction of whatever's going on with your body this morning. It's been going on for a while, but right now you can begin a different trend. But you don't begin a different trend by talking about anything the way you used to talk about it. That doesn't change anything. What you're living is always an indicator of what you're offering vibrationally. Want to offer something different vibrationally.
Well, I have proof of that I'm just sort of leading up to what has gone in the past but is now the present.
But you can't change the future by talking about the past. That doesn't work. It slows you down. It puts your feet in the mud. In other words, talking about all of that is not only wasted words but counterproductive words. It's not fun to be the first one because we're really pouncing on you in a strong way.
No, but that's good because it gets me to...
We really want to make this point that you've got to tell the story the way you want it to be. And what is it about that what you translate that as if, okay, I'm going to tell the story the way I want it to be, but first I have to go back to the beginning of time and lead up to where I am. And we say, when you go back to the beginning of time, or when you go back to the beginning of the story, you turn the whole story in that direction. And how long do we have to wait until we get up to where you are? And where you are never changes as long as you're telling that story. So never again tell the story that you don't want to be replicated in your life. It's like saying, law of attraction, I want you to put yourself on hold. I have 45, I have 55, I have 175, I have 587, I have 1,042. Oh, law of attraction, turn off. I have 5 million things that I want to tell you about. And law of attraction is happening so fast, you just got to kind of go cold turkey. You can't taper off. You can't really taper off. You got to make a decision. Use all of your willpower to tell the new story. The new story. The new story, not the accurate story, not the story of what is, not the story that others who are using their eyes would agree with. The story of vibration, the story of creation. Tell us the story of creation.
Well, I think my body is metamorphosized. I am feeling, especially when I do in the bodily condition CD that I have, the visualization, I'm flying. I'm totally in the groove, on a wave, in the current, and I am in my body. That is exactly how I want it to be.
Now, before you go further, we just want to ask our vibrational monitors, room full of them here. You're hearing the words, yes? Yes. You're feeling the tone, yes? Yes. Do the words sound upstream or downstream? Does the tone feel upstream or downstream? She feels upstream to you? Continue. We're almost out of time, so go fast.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm having a great time while I'm in this body. I love this body. And then I come out of that, and I'm looking in the mirror, looking to see the way I look with this particular outfit on,
now
or with no clothes on.
Stop it.
Okay.
Stop it. You have, what is itis?
I have what? Where do you say it?
You've got tell it like it is itis. In other words, you have honestitis. You have upstreamitis. You have objectivitis. You have, I've been telling this story for so long, I don't have the words to give you, Abraham, that you want to hear from me, because I haven't been practicing them. I've been weighing the pros and the cons, the pluses and the minuses of my life experience for so long that I can't tell the story only in the downstream way. And we submit that you can, you just haven't practiced it. And it's unfortunate that you're practicing it in front of all of these people with us pinning you to the wall like this, but they're like that too. And we want to make this very strong point early in this gathering, that you got to tell the story only the way you want it to be. And we haven't made that point with you, or you would be trying harder to tell the story only the way you want it to be. You're not alone in this. Almost everybody, and almost everybody in this room, is so absorbed in the reality of their current life that it permeates. It's oozing out of them constantly, and that's what you got to clean up. You've got to stop observing and talking about and regurgitating the aspects of your life that you want to change, because they can't change as long as you're doing that. They can't change.
Well, sometimes I say I'm just not going to think about it at all, but every
that's
time
not
I look
now.
at the mirror, I'm
You're doing
reminded.
it now. You're doing it now. You're doing it now. You are finding a point in time that amplifies what we were just explaining that you don't want to do, and you're doing it again. And we're doing it as we're amplifying it too. In other words, so here's the story that you want to tell. I'm in a physical body, I've lived lots of things, and by living those things, I've now determined what it is that I most want. And I know that as I look in the mirror, I observe what is, I get more of that, and it's logical that I would look in the mirror and observe, and so I get that, but it is now my decision that I'm going to speak only of that which I want. I might think it, and I might observe it, and I might notice it, but from this point forward, I'm only going to speak about what I want. So, or what is a vibrational match to what I want. So these things I know. I know law of attraction abounds. I know law of attraction is responsive to the things that I think and say. I know that I have the ability to know the difference between talking about what I want and talking about what I don't want. I know that my guidance system is active within me. I know that I can do this. this. I know that I might slip back from it on occasion, but I am going to make a stronger effort. I can do this. I can tell the story the way I want it to be on every subject that is important to me. And relative to the subject of my body, this is the story that I'm telling. I have a healthy body. I have a body that is responding to all of the things that I am providing for it nutritionally. I have a body that knows how to utilize the substances that I ingest to its greatest benefit. I have a body that's a cellular body, yes, but it is mostly a vibrational body, and because of its vibrational frequency, it responds primarily to the thoughts that I think, to the vibrations that I've activated. And I have the good fortune of having guidance within me that comes forth in the form of emotion, so I can tell when I'm talking about what I want, and I can tell when I'm talking about what I don't want. And from this point forward, I'm only going to talk about what I want. And if I can't find a positive way of stating it, whatever it is, I'm not going to open my mouth and talk at all. I'm not going to talk about the things that I don't want anymore.
Well, what about the thinking? Forget the talking. What about just the thinking?
Well, in time, you'll be able to, as you are deliberate about what you say, it will become increasingly easy for you to be deliberate about what you think. Be deliberate about what you say. Esther was listening to them at dinner last night. And they have been flying so high. So many wonderful things are happening. But there's something about a dinner conversation that almost always activates within both of them old stories that don't measure up to their now standards of how they want to feel. But they're practice stories, so they're easy to tell. And the more you tell them, the more it activates, and then the more of them that you think about. And Esther was thinking, I'm not going to talk about the things that I don't want to replicate in my experience. And we know, you see, here's the thing. We know that this is not a standard that any of you can keep. We know that you can't just all of a sudden stop talking about things that you've been talking about. It's not logical. And law of attraction won't let it be that way. We just want to make a powerful, powerful, powerful point right here in the beginning that must be your effort, at least your effort. I'm going to tell a new story. We want you to leave this gathering with those words ringing in your ears. I'm telling a different story. I'm going to tell a new story. I'm going to tell the story of my life as I want it to be, because my life keeps turning out to be the way I tell the story. That's the thing that we want you to understand. You think you're telling the story in a historical sense. We're wanting you to understand you're telling the story in a creative sense. Your future is happening because of the story you're telling now. You say, oh no, you misunderstand. I'm telling you about what was. And we say, no, you're telling us about what will be. Because what you're telling is coming, you see. You've got to talk about your prosperity. You've got to talk about your vitality. You've got to talk about your intelligence. You've got to talk about the perfection of your beingness. You've got to look for the positive aspects of your life and beat the drum of the positive aspects. And you've got to leave the negative aspects out of your conversation, out of your vibration, out of your thoughts, out of your vibration, out of your point of attraction, and then you'll get an indicator that matches that new vibration. See how it works?
I do, but the physical, the thinking of it is very, very different. So I'm really tuned in, tapped on, turned on with my body in the way I want it. I want to have it and feel it. But the physical part is different than the emotional. So the physical part and my emotional part.
But here's the thing that we want you to understand.
I have not.
What you just said can't be true, because if you were consistently doing what you're telling us that you're doing, the indicator would match your desire. That's the thing that we want you to understand. The indicator, what I'm living, always matches the consistent vibration that I'm offering. You'll hear so much more as we are moving forward. Good time for a segment of refreshment. Good time for a segment of refreshment.
Thank you.